in 2018, I started feeling these lumps in my stomach, these pains that I couldn't quite explain. And that felt really, really abnormal. And at the time, I actually did not know what it was. I kept going to the doctors and they kept saying to me, oh, it's just something hormonal, it's just your ovaries. But it just didn't feel right. And the thing that shocked me the most is that they would look at me as if I was overreacting, and they just smiled as if it was some kind of dream or hallucination I was having. I was truly overriding the pain, the shame, and the silence for 6 years. I went from one doctor to another doctor, and it was never right. It was never enough. It was just whatever it was that my doctor was telling me. And every door that I knocked on would just get shut or slammed in my face. And I couldn't really tell or explain it to other people. By the time we got to 2022, I spoke to an online doctor who actually said to me, you have something called fibroid. And I heard about this a long time ago, but I really didn't know how it actually worked. When all the procedures started happening, I went to my GP for the first time to actually acknowledge that I had it. The whole process was a mess, and it took another year until I could physically see a doctor myself. By this time, I had to go to Belgium with my aunties, and they confirmed by doing all the tests, the blood works, the MRIs straight away without any waiting time. I had 2 very big fibroids, one of the size of an orange and one of the size of a small melon, basically. And there were possibly other small ones growing inside of me. So from there, I came back to the UK, went to see my GP, and for the very first time, my GP said to me, to be able to express what she said is just mental. She said, I think you deserve to actually see a gynecologist now. I felt like I was dreaming at what she said to me. Went to see the first gynecologist, told me the same thing. It was too big and I needed to go into hospital to have it removed, and it had to be an myomectomy. And there's a possibility that I would possibly lose my fertility, and they would have to make a hysterectomy, which was much longer, much bigger. At that moment, I felt a heavy depression, and I was heavy, tired, not just from the thoughts, but from the actual fibroid, because this thing bleeds and it takes from me and it makes me tired, and it messes up with my hormone, and sometimes I can't think and I can't concentrate, and the periods are painful. It's like someone stabs me in my stomach like continuously when I have my period. And I couldn't keep up with work. I couldn't keep up with clients. Just my energy and my joy was just depleting. And I was still kind of forcing through it, but I realized that even though I had the money, the contracts, and the gigs, I just didn't have the capacity to continue to work this way. And it was a very, very scary moment at the time. I was bleeding out from the inside whilst trying to show up with a positive smiley face. And I knew that I wasn't lazy. I knew that I wasn't weak. I was just trying to survive, really. And so I lost a lot of contracts. I lost the opportunity to balance my multiple disposable income. And it was a very frustrating, very hard situation to go through. But this is the moment when I realized that if I did not fight for myself at this time, nobody else would fight for me. There is no way anyone in this world would actually fight for my cause. I became my own caseworker, my own GP, my own PA. I would be calling hospitals, sending letters, sending emails, translating MRIs. By the end of 2023, they did not take my first MRI seriously from Belgium. So I ended up doing another 2 MRIs. So that was 3 MRIs, multiple tests, and they would never give me a date. And they kept on putting it forward and forward and pushing it forward, and it just felt like it was never ending. When we finally ended up ready for the time of the operation, I was so frustrated, so angry, and so tired that as I was doing my research, I discovered that I had the choice of choosing which hospital to go to. I contacted my GP and said to them, send me to any hospital in the UK. I don't care where you send me, just send me anywhere. Even if it's like in Scotland, it doesn't matter, just send me there. They finally referred me to a hospital in North London, Archway. And from that moment, the whole process went much faster. Everything was much more accelerated. But it started in January 2024, and by October, I started to get some results. But as we got closer to the end, to the dates when I was supposed to have my surgery, I had 2 cancellations. First cancellation in October, they sent me a letter, and the second cancellation was the day I walked into hospital, arrived from the morning all the way up till 4. By 4:30, they've told me, you have to leave the hospital because there is someone that has a more urgent case than you. And you know, once again, I was disappointed. I was abandoned and dismissed, and I had cancelled all my work, and, you know, like, I'd asked all my friends to help me, and I was just like lost, angry, sad, really. Just felt like nothing was happening right. And I didn't get anything for all of this. No apology, no date, no care. And once again, I had to keep fighting. I started fighting again. I started arguing for my case, and they gave me another date, January 2025, which was earlier this year. It is a lot. I'm realizing now, and even though I've dealt with it, something that I've learned from this fibroid weren't just physical. They represented every way women, and specifically Black women, were told to tolerate, suppress, perform, and have to fight to be seen, or have to fight to be heard. I had to create my own safety because I couldn't find the communities to help me. I looked for organization for the first 3.5, 4 years, and I couldn't find anyone. And I was asking for people for help, and I was just looking for people that I could connect with, and I just couldn't find it. It's only in the last year, like 2024, when I started to discover people online, communities, people that had experienced similar things than me, very drastic things, and it started to give me some hope, some kind of resolution of the fact that I could do it. And my voice didn't need to be louder. I just needed to be believed, seen, that, you know, I'm not making this up. This stuff hurts, and this condition actually has killed a couple of women in some cases that I've seen recently online by being part of these communities. But here's the thing. I know that this body was not built to shrink, and neither was yours. If you ever had to silence your pain to be taken seriously, if you've ever felt unsafe to speak, I want you to know you are just enough. And your voice, it belongs in every single room, every single stage, and it needs to be heard. And in the times where people silence or dismiss your situation and your condition, you have to fight for yourself even more than you fought for yourself before. And let's take up wall space for our own stories.